Well, hi there, Lava Bison. Hi there, Roger. Hi there, Jim and Nancy. Just playing Minecraft. I figure I'd go ahead and take a break and work on a rock or something. Try something different. So we're gonna work on this one right here. And I need to figure out what side I want to work. I might polish both sides, I think. Maybe do the top side first. Because this one's got some nice color. They should arrive Monday? Perfect. I'll have to contain myself not to open them in the middle of getting everything ready for Tuesday. Hi there, Soul. Hi there, Garnet Hole. It was a beautiful day on the Oregon coast. Nice. Yeah, let's do the bottom side first. That is a bright layer, too. Nice. Okay. Now let's do the top first. That way we can polish the bottom last. Because usually, like, things get really slippery once it gets worked up enough. But I know a lot of you saw me just a few hours ago. I'm back. Here we go. Oh, I need my apron. Alright. So we do the knockdown a little bit off the top here. We have those little marks there and those marks there. Oh, nice, Soul. I missed it. Sorry I missed it. We're actually very carefully grind down the top. Not by a whole bunch, just a little bit. Hi there, Frog. This is where it can get tricky. If I mess up, I mess up. Hopefully I don't. I forgive. This time. See how, where is that layer? I have to keep check where the layer is at so I don't go too far down. Frog, it depends on the saw. There are some lapidary saws. Actually, I might have to draw it out. Actually, yeah, let me draw it out. So it depends on the saw. I'll turn off that light so we can see that better. We're gonna use this is a drawing. So if you have a continuous diamond blade, it's just continuous. There's no lips in it. It's not gonna cut your skin because your skin's too soft. It won't catch. Now those diamond saws, they can cut your fingernail because your fingernail has a hardness to it, but it won't cut your skin. Now, if you have if you've seen those giant big concrete saws, so the ones that actually had the teeth in them, like this is a kind of I guess a zoomed in. So if you have like the teeth like that in the saw, then yeah, that's gonna wreck your day. It's not gonna be a clean cut, but that will mess up your hand. skin wherever it happens to land. But no, the continuous blades that are smooth along the outside, those won't hurt you. Too soft. Teeth bite, yes. So we ground that down a little bit. Now we gotta smooth it back out. Like Frog, like even these wheels right here, if I put my skin on there for too long, it will sand down my skin, my fingerprints, so I can get away with things. And they can also grind down your fingernail too. But when these wheels are brand new, they got a little bite to it. Alright, so now we're going to use the 140 grit wheel here to smooth out what we just did. As soon as I can get the charge cable out of my way so I'm not bumping the camera continuously. Hi there, Janet. Patrick! Hi there, Patrick. Yes, feel free to hit that like button. Shows me I like shiny things. And we're working on some Fire Obsidian here, so we turn off this light right there. That is our Fire Obsidian. This one, then we have 2 layers on this one. We have 2, actually no, sorry, we have 3 layers. That's gonna be double-sided. So you have 2 layers there. On the back side, we have a 3rd layer. That's kind of more red and orange. By the time I get done with this, this will be for sale. I don't know how much yet. It all depends on how well it turns out. Got the slap day for a second. Hi there, Opa guy. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna be nice. Now, if it were me keeping this piece, I would almost cut it right here. Make that into 2 pieces, and then do it that way. But since I'm not gonna bother with that, someone else can do it. Oh, I missed Dave's live? Dang. Was it when I was live for a little bit by chance? This is called Fire Obsidian. It is local to only Oregon. This particular variety, anyway. There's many varieties of obsidian, but Fire Obsidian in particular is only found in Oregon. Oh, is that after my live? Yeah, when I got done my live, I was hanging outside with River and Amy, so I was nowhere to be found. And then we had dinner, and then I played Minecraft for a couple hours. Like an adult. Hi there, Adam and Tommy. There's some minor ash pockets in this piece, but that's okay. Yeah. And it looks like, yeah, there's another layer. So let's see if I can get this to show. Actually, let's turn on this light instead. Oops. There we go. It's gonna be hard to show, but there is actually another layer just above the fire layer, and it's right here. It is really hard to see. Yeah, it's just underneath the surface, but it would help to get through there to get rid of it. Please, someone should gift me, please. Yeah, it's hard to see because my hands are so white. Thank you, Soul. But there's another layer right here. It's not a fire layer. It's just so with this Fire Obsidian, there's typically multiple layers, and you have to sand down to get rid of those in order to get to the fire layer, which is right here. So there's another layer right here I have to get past to kind of get down to those ones as close as I could get anyway. No, it won't crack. So that's one of the best things about this stuff here, Tommy, is if there's no fractures, it's not going to break. Unlike opal, or if you work opal, some opals will have tendency to crack and craze, even like while you're working it. Not much you can do about that. If there's a crack in here, yeah, you'll see it, but it just won't pop up. I do have a piece of obsidian on my shelf that I did on show here. Meow. For Rattata. So up here, like my play button, up here there's a big, I'll fix it later. Might be a little dusty. So for example, see that fracture right there? That fracture actually went into the stone, and there wasn't much I can do about it. So what I did is I cut the end off to work past it, so I didn't really, potentially break it. But yeah, this is also Fire Obsidian too. This one's not for sale. So yeah, sometimes it has fractures, sometimes not. Let's put it right there. So. How have seen it? Yeah, I do lapidary. So I work with rocks. So if we zoom out, there's a shelf behind me. So I have a cabbing machine, flat lap, another cabbing machine. I actually have a fossil box right there. There's actually a fish fossil in there. It's not done yet. It's a pretty decent sized plate. That's from Kemmerer, Wyoming, by the way. Polishing wheel, more grinders and sanders down there, and then on the weekends, so here in a couple of days I'll be doing a live sale. And then I have stuff for sale, so I have crystals, spheres, towers. I did not polish these. I don't have that kind of time in the day, but I do custom small stuff for myself whenever I have a chance. Yeah, so do live sales on the weekends, and then I do lapidary stuff kind of here and there whenever. Oh, hi there, Mark. And then right now my saws are outside until I can have room in the garage again. Well, thank you, Tommy. It's gonna change here soon, hopefully. I am working on getting a shed. A lot of our friends here in the community know this already, but I'm working on getting a 14 by 24 new space for all the live sales, and then. Hey George, why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7 ain't 9. But yeah, I'm working on getting a new space. And then the new space before live sales, this space will go back purely to just lapidary, and that's it. Ratata, sometimes. I mean, I'm still like learning the fossils. Like this, yesterday we prepped some trilobites that I did for a giveaway last month. And I got those sets out. I have a couple still in here in the shop. Like I collected and I prepped a little trilobite from Utah. Cena ice starts at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so I believe it'd probably be closer to noonish your time, if you're a couple hours ahead of me. But we have a little bit of everything. I think this weekend I might be doing some beads and stuff, because we've been neglecting beads and bracelets for a while, so we might do some of those. And then on Sundays we typically do like other stuff. Like this weekend we'll have more Malawi agates that were cut by Agape, and then we'll do some auctions as well. And there's no sign-up fee, there's no deposit. Every time I do a live, there is a link in the description to go fill out the form. I mean, even in this description, in this video, there should be a link, maybe. But there's a fill-out form on the website at worldofrockhounds.net. Again, it's free. And there's no pressure to buy anything on the weekends. You just want to kind of come out and kind of see what everything is about, just to check us out. You're welcome to do so. Everyone in our community is awesome. Well, thank you for the subscription. But yeah, I've been getting into fossils in the last couple of years and learning how to prep them. I feel like I've gotten better since then. I've even added to my collection of tools. It's got a big blast cabinet several weeks ago, and then earlier this year I got a what's it called? It's like a special air blasting unit. Nice. Yeah, being in Rocktown is pretty awesome. I feel like I should get a little closer to that. Maybe not. I don't get too close. So the thing with Fire Obsidian, no, fingers won't get messed up. Check it out. See? Won't hurt. Oh yeah, and then yeah, I also got an air compressor. Actually, I got the air compressor I think last year. Was it last year? Now, if I put my fingernails, actually, did I grow my fingernails? You might be able to see this. Okay. Okay, so fingernails. It will sand your fingernail. So that's really the only, I guess, dangerous thing about this. You just gotta watch where your fingernails are. It's not gonna hurt you. Safer than woodworking. Put my feet on it. Actually, no, it's funny that you mentioned that because at some point I will do a video on polishing a rock with my feet. But I'm only gonna upload that to my OF page. I put spicy content over there. I'm only kidding. No, I don't. No one wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. No, but for real though, at some point I will make a video on trying to polish a rock with my feet, just for snips and wiggles. I am boring. I know. I lead a very vanilla lifestyle. I won't argue that one. Yes. Be mindful where your hair's at, and I mean, yeah, you could like burn your skin. I'm not gonna say burn, but you can sand away your skin eventually. Johnny, why are you watching? Kristen. All right, so. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom in here, and we're gonna turn off this light, and you should be able to hopefully see it. Where the heck did the pencil go? We are currently on 140 grit. The initial stage actually would have been fine for 600 grit, but because there's a couple deep like scratches over here, I had to take it to the diamond wheel to grind them out. But we still have a pretty deep scratch right here, and then we have like a spot that needs to get hit right here. So we're just slowly kind of sanding it down. This, I believe, also needs to get hit as well. And he's gonna that's how to get rid of your fingerprints. No joke. Yeah, so he's got to work on those two spots right there, and then once we get those out, then we can go down to the next stage. The back actually I'm not too worried about. So if we dry it off here, that's not bad. In fact, I can probably take that to potentially just 1200 because that's not a bat matte finish there. Oh, hi there, Brian. All right. Come on. There we go. So you gotta focus kind of on the edge of the wheel a little bit. I always say that you should use as much of the wheel as possible to make sure the wheel wears evenly. Because these sanding drums, they are not cheap. You're welcome, Brian. We do have 144 people and 32 likes. If you so kind, hit that like button. If you don't want to do it for me, then do it for the Obsidian. Because look at that color. This is all natural material. This comes out of Glass Butte from Oregon. This I bought online because it was a good deal. And then I'm going to polish it up and I'm going to show it on Sunday for sale. This is the 140 grit Diamond Pacific Nova wheel. So it is a resin, a diamond resin based wheel. And then I use an air compressor to kind of dry it off to see where I'm at. Okay, that's top spot dealt with. Now I just gotta focus kind of here in the center. Rocky Mountain Bear. I mean, if Johnny wants a hug, I'll give Johnny a hug. Big old bear hug. So like Mark, no. So these wheels are relatively new in the last, I think, couple years. So since I'm not doing like big stuff every single day, like all day, every day, these wheels last me quite some time. But I do keep my old wheels whenever they did get wore out, so that way I can eventually learn how to resurface them myself. It's okay, Nancy. Okay, it's mostly out. You know what's really interesting is this wheel is relatively new to me because on the other Genie. So this CAD machine is custom made in Oregon, and for a while I had 2 diamond wheels on this one, then the 280, 600, 1200, 3000. I decided to get the 140 grit and ditch one of the diamond wheels, and I have never been happy with the decisions, like regarding lapidary in such a long time. That was the best move to make for an in-between stage. Thank you, Soul. Sorry, Johnny. You got yeeted. Nice, Mark. You have to let me know how it goes. Because I think I might have an old wheel. I mean, older. I mean, it still has plenty of grit on there, I think. But at some point I would have to test it out. Actually, no. Let me take that back. I have a Cab King I recently bought. Still has fairly good wheels on there, but from what I heard, they don't last as long. And so that's going to be an experiment down the road. And we got that out. That's not there anymore. Those little white dots, that's actually inside the stone. Those are little ash pockets. Touch the screen so I keep myself out of life. Oh no, darn it. That happens to me sometimes too. Oops. Almost lost my, I might have scratched the back. Come on, did that. Yep. Dang it. No, No. The stone flipped, caught the back of that wheel, so now I do have to sand that with at least the. I might still get that up to 600. Alright, I do want to know if I can go any deeper on that. Can I go any deeper? Not really. So here's the downside with this stuff, and which is why it makes it really difficult working this material. Rainbow obsidians, I'm going to be comparing rainbow with fire here. Rainbow obsidians, they typically have a very uniform line with them. And they very rarely like go up and down or all over the place. So they have very uniform lines. Fire obsidian from Glass Butte, it can be uniform sometimes, but a lot of the time, let's actually hit this light here. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit. This material tends to want to like dip and go this way, that way. It goes all over the place. I've seen it where even, so let's use the backside here. So let's say there's a piece of obsidian that has like different layers in there, like some gold sheen or whatever it might be. I've seen fire layers do, and then go yeet, and then like go through all the different layers. So now you're stuck having to like chase that fire to get down to it and kind of, you know, get rid of all this stuff up here, and then you have your fire layer. It's kind of frustrating because if you're working on a cab, so let's say this is your cab right here, and you have a layer that kind of goes, dips down and kind of comes up here a little bit. You want to actually flip that cab around the best you can and come down and polish from the top side down. That way you can actually show off that fire layer. Well, there, Darren from England. Let's see here. I think it'd be morning for you, isn't it? So good morning, maybe. And then on the back side here, so this piece has 3 layers. So we have that blue, and we have another one on top of that, which is not as nice as this one. But then the back side, we have that kind of purpley yellow orange color, and I think that also kind of dips down a little bit, so it goes down. But I'm going to polish both sides. I'm not going to like lose too much of the material because realistically, someone can buy this and then do what they can either keep it as is, or they can come through. They can cut it down because I'm going to leave this part here. I don't like having to grind that down because if I grind this down, we're going to be cutting through. Well, thank you, Orlando. So if we cut this part out right there, so let me back up. If I grind this out to keep the shape of the stone, we will lose that much of the stone right there, and I don't want that. That's why I'm gonna leave this the way it is. Like once I get polished, I'll let whoever else buys this or adopts this to do whatever they want with it. I would recommend whoever does get this to take a thin diamond saw, cut it right there, a little straighter than that, and then that way they can have 2 stones out of it and without too much waste. Teal, this is Fire Obsidian from Oregon. Nah, this ain't gonna go in the tumbler. Someone had already put this in a tumbler, and that's why I'm trying to get it finished. Relatively finished. And the other thing is too, that layer, that blue layer, that's probably the best part of the stone right there. And these layers are super thin, so you can actually see at times some of that color kind of pop through that top layer there. So if someone were to take this, cut it down, they can actually very carefully grind down to that layer and very, very, very carefully extract make that one pop and then get rid of that top layer there. It just takes a long time, and it's splitting hairs. I mean, look at the difference. Let's turn off this light and turn on that light. Look how much room. Let's see if I can find a good spot here. There is probably, I almost would like to say 2 sheets of paper thickness between that bottom layer and that top layer. So if someone was going to refinish that, they have to think ahead at every single step that they're doing in order to very carefully get rid of that top layer without going through that bottom layer. It's yeah. It's a lot of work. Hi there, Rock County Pacific Northwest. Hi there, Zach. So we're gonna go ahead and go over to 280 grit. Yeah, there's literally zero, like, yeah, Rocky Mountain Bear. There is no better way to say that. There is no room for error. But it's going pretty good. We're just working on some Fire Obsidian here. I was playing some Minecraft right before I went live, and I was in the middle of doing whatever on there. I'm like, you know what? I think I need to do something productive. I need to go live, work on a rock again, catch that algorithmic train. Now there, yes, you know, Anna Cat, howdy, or naughty, and Rainy Girls in Vancouver Island, nice. Yeah, I'm here in Oregon. Oh, that's awesome. So, you know, Rock Canyon, no, I'm just going to say PNW, it's a lot easier. That is something I've always wanted to try. Not so much glass blowing, but I always wanted to experiment to see if Fire Obsidian could be a man-made, as far as taking some, like, clear black, like, natural black obsidian with, like, no inclusions whatsoever. Like, I mean, like, crystal clear, and like not like pitch black, but like crystal clear material. Take some magnetite crystals, get that melted down, and try to recreate Fire Obsidian if that's even possible. Well, thank you, Anna Cat. Anna Cat, what kind of machines do you have? And the trick is just keeping the stone moving at all times. Don't let it stop. I love working small stones because they're so quick to work. Well, they're kind of quick to work. It's not looking too bad. Rainy girl, I have a hammer. And my vuvuzela. Yeah, this can be pretty therapeutic. It's not really as stressful, except if you're working on like something that, like for example, I have an opal up here that I still have to do for my neighbor. He's actually, I think, somewhere else. But he wants me to do something with this opal. And this opal is going to be stressful because it wants to stick to my fingers already and absorb that water. And that is kind of not high on my to-do list. Oh, nice, Anna Cat. Do you have a storefront, or just kind of work out of your space? Oop, almost dropped it. I did drop it. That's why I had this rag down here. One of the reasons. Yes, you know, so this particular setup, if you were to buy this machine brand new from the people that make them here in Oregon, this cabin machine is $2,000. I didn't get it for that much. These wheels did not come with it. These wheels I bought separately. Because the wheels that it comes with they're trash. I'm not afraid to say that. Because I didn't buy this machine directly from them. I got this machine for 500 because someone owed me a huge favor, and they had a bunch of rocks of mine in their inventory. So I just said, all right, I would like to. I'll buy this machine for me for $500. They didn't really have much say in the matter. Nice, Anna Cat. So I'll show you here in a second. You know, Rocky Mountain, that's actually a good thought process because there has been times where I've seen like the magnetat layers like directly on the surface of the obsidian, and it had that rainbow color. And it wasn't just like a conchoidal fracture; it was like right on the surface. Yeah, Carl. You know, I do like working opal. Sometimes it's a very love-hate relationship. At least, like, I love how beautiful it is, and I had been lucky a few times where there's like nothing cracked or crazed. But I'm telling you, like, there's been times where I'm working on the piece, and all of a sudden a crack goes right through it, and there's nothing I can do with it. Well, hello, Garcias. Alright, let's take a look at this. Get that off. And I am, for the most part, happy with that outcome. Maybe smooth that down a little bit better on that side. It's too lumpy. We don't want lumpy. Well, nice, Anna Cat. Yeah, I wish I had enough time to like polish a bunch of stuff, sell myself. I sell myself. I don't sell myself. I sell my stuff that I make sometimes when I have time for it. Because I'll show you an example here in a second. So, actually, let's just show you right now. So, Annika, I don't know if you're here a little bit ago when I said I do live sales on weekends. I have a literal buttload of cabs. I'm probably thinking there's probably a few hundred pounds. I'm not gonna say a few hundred, but it's heavy. There's a lot of weight. These are all cabs. I mean, there's no Fire Obsidian cabs in here. These ones, but there is some nice cabs in here of obsidian. Like, for example, that one's $5. That is a silver sheen. That's from Mexico. I could not polish a cab for $5. If someone's like, "Hey, can you do me a cab for $5?" I'll tell them, "Sorry, I can't. You gotta find someone else." And that's not me being rude. That's me being respectful for my time, and just for everything. There are some cabs in here that are more expensive than others, like Dynabone, Dragon Bloom. Those are a little more expensive, but still, for Dynabone, that's 15. Like, I got Dynabone, but I couldn't do a cab for $15. The amount of time it takes to cut it down and polish it. Like, at that, what I'm doing, this is like this. I guess you would consider like to be considered artisanal, but still, I don't want to spend my day all day like making cabs. That's not what I'm about. I have a family. So yeah, on the weekends, I have a friend that supplies like the cabs, specimens, beads, drilled pairs, non-drilled pairs, tower spheres, and everything else in between. But I do like polishing stuff on occasion when I have time, because time is kind of a fickle thing right now. Nice, Rocky Mountain Bear. Well, and that's the thing too, Anna Cat. I know it's kind of a touchy subject within the rock counting lapidary world. A lot of people will go to BLM sites. They'll find the material, they'll work it, they'll sell it. technically that's a no-no, and that's why I don't sell stuff that I collect off BLM land, because it is against the rules. And people will be like, "Oh, you put your time and effort into the stone in order to be able to sell it." That's not true. Anything that you collect off BLM land, it has to be for personal use only, unless you have a special permit in order to be able to collect it and sell it, which I haven't even bothered to even look into it because it's not worth my time. But yeah, all the stuff that I get in order to be able to resell it, estate sales, rock shows, rock shops, garage sales, occasionally online. But them's the rules, and I don't break them. I live here in Corvallis, Oregon. Like even like Oregon beaches, people are not allowed to sell what they collect. Against the rules. One thing I am very strict on is rules. You got a permit? Alright, we're good for we go to 600. Alright, next stage, 600 grit. See, Annika, you said Vancouver Island. That's, is that Washington or Canada? Because I know that Canada has like special permits you have to get in order to collect anything, really. That's actually been on my list, is to contact BLM to see like what the permit process looks like, what you're allowed to do with that permit, because I just feel like people, I don't know, I've seen other people collect off BLM land. I don't want to say they're big channels, but then they turn around and they sell it when they're not supposed to. It makes the rest of us look bad. Oh, you live in the United States? Did you go through the BLM office for that permit? Like, how much does it cost? I'm sure it also depends, like, county to county, too. It's a rag, Carl. I use these rags are due to get swapped out. The rags are good for two purposes. The first purpose, I have very white hands, and it's a darker color machine, so it helps balance out the color for the camera. But also, if I drop it, I don't have to worry about like finger scratches or anything. So it's multi-function. It kind of helps catch some of the grit too. So that way when I go clean out my machine, all I have to do is rinse out the rag in a bucket of water a few times to get all the grit out, and then toss the rag into the laundry basket you wash, and then just throw some new rags in here. Right, hold it. There we go. I don't think I have to hit the back of the stone too much with this wheel. I might be able to get away with this using the under grip for the backside. Well, thank you for the subscription, Annika. And hi there, James. Yeah, Carl, yeah, it helps out quite a bit. I mean, I'm sure you know this, but you know, you're not really supposed to get the grit in. Like, it helps with a few things. Because here, I'll show you. Easier to kind of show. So if we back out a little bit, so for this particular machine, I use a recyclatory water system. The water is a little old because I just keep adding to it. But I use a recyclatory water system. So the rag I guess technically has for, you know, it balances out the color from my hands for the camera, catches the stone. It gets a hold of the whatever grit that might be in here, and then it kind of keeps the grit from really getting into here too much, because the water comes down. I have a sponge back there. The sponge is kind of old, little grungy. But I recycle the water for the cab machine, so I don't have to keep getting up and down to kind of keep filling containers. I've had water in this thing for 3 years now. I haven't dumped it out, and there's not a lot of grit in the bottom of it. So it does its job. It does an excellent job at it. And all I gotta do is really change out the filter sometimes, which I haven't done yet in 3 years. It works great. It saves time, because you know, when you're kind of in the zone, you don't want to get up a bunch of times to fill up a bucket of water or dump it out. That's how the other grinding station is that I have down the line. You know, I have a clean bucket of water and I have a wastewater bucket. And if I'm doing a lot of big projects, you know, I have to at least empty it once. Rocky Mountain Bear, the sponge, it's a little mildewy. I'm not gonna lie on that one. It's a little mildewy. It doesn't need to get replaced. I have a replacement sponge in the cat, like up in the cupboard right now, and I've been too lazy to swap it out. But I'm so happy with this water system that I literally made a second one for the cab team when I finally get around to working with that machine. Yeah, 3 years. I only add water in there when I'm not seeing a lot of water coming out of the spigots here for the wheels. Works great. No complaints. I will, Soul. I will. I'll probably do that here this week. I'll add it to my board, okay? But hey, you know, considering how long it's been since I changed the filter, like, it's pretty impressive if you think about it. Anacat, I've been doing lapidary since 2012. That's when I first started my lapidary journey. And so I've been doing it for over a decade. And then I've been selling rocks on the weekends here on YouTube since, I don't know, almost 3 years ish. I'll have to go back and look. But no, I've always been into rocks. I've always been a rock hound ever since before I can remember. My mom said I used to pick rocks out of people's driveways. I just never grew out of it. So I am I'm into everything rocks. Okay, that sponge has seen something. Just working on that 600 grit. That is our surface. It's not done yet after 600, after it's been dry. So a few months ago, I'm running at an HB CB6. Oh, nice, Carl. I got a funny story about that. What is that? Oh, thank goodness. Okay. All right. So that is after 600, and it's not done yet. You can see some surface little scratches. It's not a big deal. That's just part of the 600 grit process. The 1200 would actually take those out. So you just got to trust the process. So yeah, Carl, gosh, it was a couple of years ago I think at this point when cutting edge supply was still in business. one of the representatives from Cutting Edge Supply was promising me a 6-inch Highland Park caving machine. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I think he said 6-inch. It could have been 8-inch. It was one of the two. Either way, I was being promised a caving machine, and I'm like, okay. I didn't get super excited because like I'm the kind of person, I don't get excited until something is actually in front of me, in my hands, solid object. Well, I guess the deal between Cutting Edge Supply and Highland Park kind of fell through, and I didn't get a machine. A bunch of other content creators didn't get a machine because like they wanted to send free machines to like several different content creators. So yeah, that was just a quick story. No, I didn't get it. Every machine that I have here in this shop, here, I'll zoom out and I'll show you here. Every machine that I have, I paid for. Paid for the used Genie, paid for high-tech flat lap, paid for this caving machine. I built that. That's for fossils. Someone built that for me because they owed me a huge, giant favor for the polishing machine. That's actually version 2. Version 1 was actually on an old school desk. But still, someone owed me a huge favor and they built me one. And then both machines on there, I bought those too. I have a Fordham. I bought that. Like, I don't have any equipment in here that was given to me for free by any company. As much I would love to have a free machine, I'm kind of to the point where like I would just rather buy it. That way, there's no like sense of, oh, Kyle must have been bought. Not the case. But yeah, a free machine would be nice. I was kind of looking at the 8-inch caving machine from Highland Park, but I might end up getting down the road the Kingsley North 8-inch model. I just like how it looks. Oh, and then I also have the 6-inch Cab King, which is in the rock room right now. Anacat, yeah, you're not wrong. I do have enough, but there's a reason why I have a lot of machines. Because if and when the update for the business happens, they'll free up a bunch of space up here in the shop. And then once things get settled, I plan on resuming offering lapidary classes again. And it's nice to have extra equipment so I can host at least, teaching 2 to 3 people at a time rather than like one-on-one. So it would be nice to have additional equipment on hand for those lapidary classes. I'll still teach classes. I just not have been openly advertising for it because I don't have space right now. As much as I would love that right now. And honestly, I wouldn't mind like renting out my shop time or renting out shop time, so long as I can rent it up to someone that I know that would take good care of the machine, clean them back to themselves, and like not damage the wheels. That's kind of the big thing too, is like, because you can have like 10 people work on one machine, but like every person's gonna work the machine differently than the previous person. So there's always a chance that wheels can wear out much faster, because for those that know, like the Diamond Pacific wheels, they're a couple $100, I think at this point, at least. Or no, are they at least? The 6-inch wheels I think are 150 to 170 for the 6-inch, and the 8-inch wheels I know are definitely a couple hundred or so. Yeah, I would like to get in and teach some lapidary classes again. It is nice to kind of see people hands-on experience and taking a stone and making it look pretty. Teach people a better way than what I was taught. Man, we're getting there. We're nearly done actually with this one. We're getting pretty close. Gotta smooth out the tips of the stone around the side. So I feel like I basically did teach myself because the guy literally just showed me, all right, this is what you do, and like, it showed me like for a couple minutes, and that was it. I was pretty much left to my own devices after that. Like no joke. He showed me for a couple minutes, and then went and did his own stuff throughout his shop. And like he didn't even really stick around to really help me out too much. Whereas whenever I taught classes, like I'm in the shop with the person teaching the class, and like I am on standby for any questions, and I'm listening to the machines, I'm listening to the stones at the wheel, so I know what to listen for if they need help. Like I am ready to step in and help at a moment's notice. Well, hi there, Benny. So yeah, I mentioned earlier I am going to leave that in there. If I was going to keep the stone, yes. What I would actually do is, if I was keeping the stone, I would actually take a saw and I would cut right here and make 2 stones. Because if I were to grind this out, I would lose a lot of this top side here. So I'm going to leave that there and let the next person, whoever adopts this, have more material to work with instead of losing material. Well, it's nice seeing you too, Carl. Thanks for popping in and subscribing. And feel free to check out. I do have a lot of other long form content videos of how to do stuff. Feel free to watch those, and I look forward to seeing more in my lives. I hope you have a good evening. I'm gonna keep the stone moving. Gotta blend it in. Blend, 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 blend. Let me check our work. That's awesome. And then I am going to focus a little more here on the side. Let me just keep the stone moving. I know the biggest thing is kind of like, there's a lot of people out there that would love to have lapidary equipment, and I will say that lapidary equipment, yeah, it is expensive, but I will say lapidary equipment, like in comparison to like fossil preparation tools, is actually a lot cheaper. And the thing is, you don't have to have a cabbing machine to do this. They do. You can get like a Fordham, or like it's basically a Fordham is a Dremel on steroids, basically. And you can get diamond bits, and you can get the Nova points that's made by Diamond Pacific, which is the same grit varieties. And you can do stuff by hand without having to get all the fancy equipment. And then I will recommend getting at least a carpet wheel for polishing for the best possible polish. Wow there, no, I am here in Oregon. I'm a couple states down from Canada. That wheel vibration sounds like a cat purring. Nice, Carl. I will say I've actually, I don't think I've actually polished malachite before. I've cut it. I don't think I've actually, no, I take it back. I have polished malachite. That was a learning experience. It was a free-form malacola piece. So that was fun. I learned that it doesn't polish the same as other stone. Yeah, Erdna, if you ever have the ability to get the equipment, I highly recommend doing it. It's a very like, even if you're not like selling what you're doing, it's just a therapeutic hobby, and it's healthy. So, I'm gonna look away from the camera here. I'm looking for any giant noticeable scratches that would not buff out in the next stage. And I'm not seeing a whole lot. I will hit it again just to make sure. So that is after 1200. I'll give you an idea. The backside of the stone here, I'm pretty sure it would actually buff out with 1200. So that was kind of the surface that we had beforehand. And that is our finish so far. But I am going to hit the sides really quick just to make sure that I got everything smoothed out. The polish is coming. That should be a shirt. That's 100% a shirt idea. Oh, nice soul. You know, so I will say that I've actually, my flat lap, I don't think I've actually used it to make a domed cab on it. I've done a lot of flat surfaces, but like not actual, like dome surfaces. All right, so this is where we're gonna test something out. We're gonna flip it over, and we're gonna go ahead and work on the back, and we're gonna see if the 1200 grit will actually like get this ready for polish. If it doesn't, then we have to go back a step to 600 and then sand it that way. But I believe if I kind of focus maybe on the sides of the wheel here, that should work. And what I'll do is I'll do like half the stone so you can kind of see the process. Let's use half of it. Just kind of see what it does. I'm going to go over here to the other side of the wheel. It is very important to utilize as much of the wheel as possible. Wear it out evenly. And we'll take a look to see what it looks like here after touching it up. So, yeah, it looks like we should be able to get that ready for polish. So right, the left side is before we hit it with 1200, right side is after 1200. So that will actually work out, I think. Except for my worry is this corner right there. There is a pretty deep scratch from when I actually missed the wheel. His soul. You know, I feel like Lapidary Dave, he's pretty entertaining to watch. I can't hold a candle to David. He is so entertaining to watch. He really does, Bubble Guy, and the fact he's able to whip out so many cabs in a single session is crazy. Yes, Erdna, that's actually a really good. That's actually a very good question. Yes, in fact, let me show you. Okay. Well, where's my other phone? I can use my other phone. Okay, so a Fire Obsidian, Erdna. So what gives Fire Obsidian its color is nanocrystallized magnetite layers. That's what those color layers are. And since this one has 3 of them, has the top one, that one, and then actually, you know what? That might be just 2 layers. But if we take a light here, or I have to use my other phone because I can't access my actual flashlight here, it is transparent. If you have only a couple layers, you can actually read. Like, you can see my finger right through there. That is how thin those layers are. Super, super thin. So, and I'll grab another piece here to show. Actually, let me see here. It looks like I misspoke. I thought this was 3 layers. It is just 2 layers. So that layer that we see underneath this one right there, that layer is actually the one that we see on the other side. So I didn't know that. So we have 2 layers, and the bottom one is by far the best one. I'll show you another cab here. And I don't have my necklace nearby, I don't think. So here's another cab here. Again, you can actually see. Actually, we turn on maybe a light back here. Just relate a little bit here. You can see my finger right through that layer. And when you're setting these stones, typically, you have, if you're going to be setting some sterling silver, which I will be, bear with me that I've had to do this before, is some people might use like maybe a backing material, which maybe I should have done in the future. But what I do is I take the back of the stone, it's not polished. I will take a permanent marker and I will color this. And I'll do this a few times, and just so like no light is shining through, because what'll happen is when I set this into sterling silver, the light, because this layer is so thin, the light will come through, bounce off that, or it'll go through, bounce off the reflective silver backing, and then come back through, and you'll lose a lot of that color on the pendant. And I learned this the hard way, because I have a pendant of the Fire Obsidian. I think it's in my bedroom right now. But I learned that the hard way, and what I had to do is I had to go through, I had to remove the stone from the setting, because I use glue to keep it in place so I don't lose it. And luckily, because of how I designed the backing, it was easy to remove. But yeah, I had to go back through, take the stone out, color the back of it, glue it back in place, and then all of a sudden the color just popped. It's a process. All right, let's get this turned back on here and get that shut. There we go. So I have not tried it with opals. That's probably why they back it with like a basanite jet or like anything black, so that way the light doesn't bounce through and hit sterling silver and then come back through, because then you'll lose that color. That's probably why they do that. But I haven't tried it with a marker. Maybe I should at some point. Give it a whirl. I mean, I have some Ethiopian cabs here in the shop to try that with. Actually, I should do that. That could be a good video. So, don't you forget, I need to write that down. I think that'd be a really good comparison video. Test it out. Make a lot of Julie makers angry. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was worried about. I might have to do 600. You're welcome, Urja. Thank you for asking. I'm always happy to show things where I can. Put the marker on a silver back. Yeah, that could work too. Or just even mix in some black powder with some deep hard epoxy. That'd be pretty glued in place. That actually probably work as well. Alright, so I really want to focus on the edge, because there is some weird spots in the center of the stone that I think may not come out with this tape. I don't know how else to describe it, but chances are I might have to go back a couple steps with the back, which I won't do tonight. Maybe not. It's actually coming out. Okay. Is it? Hold on. Yeah, it's slowly coming out. But that's still gonna be a really nice piece. Really nice piece. Gotta keep focusing the edge of the wheel on the center of the stone, because that's where my problem spot is right now. But I will also make sure to kind of hit the edges too. Fire Obsidian it's kind of one of those materials that still not a lot of people know about. You know, everyone knows black opal. They know Ethiopian opal. You know, Brazil opal. I don't think it is as known right now. It's still kind of out there. I just feel like the Fire Obsidian is not. It hasn't gained its popularity yet. Like some people know it. Some people, a lot of people don't. It also doesn't help that stuff is expensive. Really expensive stuff. I mean, not as expensive as black opal from Australia, but still, it's a little expensive. Well, hi there, Brad. I hope everyone's had a wonderful Wednesday so far. Let's see if we can catch the light here. There it is. You know, I'd almost recommend whoever gets this should probably set it into a pendant just like that. Have it wire wrapped maybe, and then have this be outward facing, and then have that be the back side of the stone. I mean, they're still both beautiful pieces, like both beautiful sides. Or whoever wants, you know, someone can even go through. They can almost like carve this into that looks like a foot. That'd be fun. I'm not gonna be the one to do that. Someone else can do it. Yeah, so trying to find like good, affordable. Oh, actually, just remind me. I gotta get. Yeah, I gotta pull some stuff from Melissa to put together. But yeah, finding good quartz for the capping is pretty difficult. I mean, for good price anyway. I told Josh next time he goes down to Brazil to kind of keep an eye out for like more. You know, high grade rough for like opals and doublets and triplets and stuff. Oh yeah, or pepper. So Erdna, I have done pendants in the past. I just don't do it like a bunch because silver is not cheap, and the way that I do pendants, it might make some people that have maybe studied in like making jewelry cringe a little bit, because I just use a basic torch and some solder and I'm good to go with the tools that I have. Actually, no, let me go grab my pendant. Let me show you. So please hold while I go grab it. I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, excuse it. It is a little dirty. It's been sitting on the dresser for a couple days, and I have been wearing it. I usually wear it quite often, so it's a little scratched up. It's also a little dirty. I'll show you here. It was pristine at one point. I said a scratch. Oh, it better not be. Oh, it is. No. Well, that's unfortunate. So it looks like there's a scratch on my necklace, which means at some point soon I will have to take it apart and refinish the stone again. So I made this. Wow, that does not like that camera, that light. I made this pendant. This is my usually daily wear. It looks like there is a scratch here on the surface. That That's fine, and I'll tell you why. I designed this pendant so I can easily come back through, and I can very carefully get like some glue removal, just pop it in there, allow it to do its job. It's a 2-part epoxy, and I can just kind of very carefully pry the stone out. Once the glue is loosened, refinish the stone, get it polished, put it back in place. But yeah, I did that. So that's my necklace. That's a pretty high grade piece. I can't believe I scratched it. I don't know what happened. I mean, it is glass. It's gonna happen. Well, hi there, Wes. I would be an archaeologist growing up, and I love fossils. Me too, Wes. I was kind of in the same boat. I mean, you don't have to be an archaeologist to like fossils. You can. There's places in Utah and Wyoming can get fossils. Like over here, I don't have a degree in this, but I have a fossil fish in there. See, can I get my hand in here? Can I give you an idea how big this fish is? Ooh, that's a loose plate, but it's a pretty good size fossil. I did have to repair it, but that one's in the works. And there's another one that I did do. Got done. That's right there. So, yeah, don't count yourself out yet, Wes. You don't have to be an archaeologist. You can do it as a hobby. Still enjoy it. There's actually there's a trilobite actually over here. I got this in September. I went digging for this in Utah. And I prepped it here at home. I bought a blast cabinet, and I used, for the blasting media, I used baking soda. Okay, there it is. Oh, nice, Brad. Yeah, I've seen some videos where some people were like doing some fossil hunting there in Texas, and they're pulling out some really cool stuff. Someday, I would like to go. Yeah, that was a trilobite. They came from Dig Fossils there in Utah. I was there for a day. Next year, I'm hoping to go there for a couple days and just enjoy it, like spend more time there, because I had a blast. It was awesome. I want to get more trilobites. It was so easy. You just sit there and split rocks, or you can dig in the wall if you really wanted to. But it's awesome. If you haven't been there, look it up. It's Dig Fossils. I think they might be getting close to closing down the quarry because of the wintertime. But I'm telling you, it's worth going. And they clean up so easy. Yes, this is obsidian. We're trying to get ready for polish, and we're almost there. Both sides, actually. Basically almost done. Yeah, I believe was it Montana. They find a lot of triceratops in Montana. Though I know a lot of it kind of might be like public, or not public. That might be like private property, or you have to have like a permit to really dig for triceratops out there and keep the bones. I'll have to talk to my friend more about that, because he lives in Montana. That'd be Theocalison. Yes, and there is a trick for polish too. Now, there are people out there that would probably take this to like, 12,000 or 50,000. You don't have to do that for like these wheels, not for obsidian. Yep, we're ready for polish. So, yeah, let me get that in place. I have camera arms everywhere, and I have to keep moving one of them. Good thing that's not on. And when I get done polishing this, I'm gonna have some pie, and I'm gonna delve right back into Minecraft again because I'll feel like I've done something. All right, so we are gonna come over here really quick. Give it a good rinse. For I don't know if anyone that's in here I didn't show earlier, but this is my setup. That's my setup so far. The other side of the shop, it's filled with wire shelves. So, you know, that's everyone's claim boxes for when I do my live sales every weekend. Packing material, this is where I pack orders, get things priced. This is open boxes, people that paid for their stuff, and I'm holding on to it until they're ready to have things shipped out. And then over here we have just inventory of crystal specimens and of course everything else in between. But once the shop is emptied, I'll have room against that wall for more tables, for more equipment. But for now, I come right here. Oh, and then also, really quickly, get this turned on. It's going to be hard to see because, well, everything is in boxes still. But there's a sandblasting cabinet, and then behind those boxes there, I have my lapidary saws. They used to be in the garage until I ran out of room. But eventually, these go back in place. Come back inside. Well, how there, B? Yeah, B missed most. But hey, you're in time for the best part, really. That's the polishing part. So yeah, that sandblasting cabinet, I took the extra effort to caulk the inside of it, and that was a pain in the butt. Let me tell you what. Messy process. Okay, so I did something bad. I forgot to put the lid back on this when I got done with it yesterday. Was it yesterday when we were live? When was the last time we were polishing a rock? I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah. Bead Pie, good morning. Oh, we need more water than this, too. Kyle, you're fired. I'm so sorry. So this is Gordon Glass Company, cerium oxide. It's not sponsored. Though I do have an affiliate program through Amazon and the link tree that I have in the description on my channel and kind of all over the place. I've been using Gordon Glass Company pretty much since I started working on lapidary stuff. And this polishing wheel right here is, I've been using this since, I feel like I've had this wheel since 2016. And I haven't changed it yet. But with this cerium oxide, what you want to do, and it gets a little bit of water in there, not too much, because it's really easy to put too much water in this thing. And you just mix it up, and we get a nice consistency that looks like a Wendy's Frosty. Not sponsored, but I effing love Frosties. I don't know about you all, but Frosties, heck yeah. No, Erdna for Obsidian, we use a cerium oxide. This is the cerium oxide. I do have the wax bars, which I've used to polish amber. So if I take you over here, just really quickly. So if we go to my little cabinet of various tools and supplies, I do have Manzurna polishing bars, and I just bought a thing of Zam, which I haven't really experimented too much with. But I have used Manzurna for polishing amber. Worked well, and I also use the same stuff to polish Malacola, like a big old free form of it, which I learned that this is the only way to polish it. And I'm still trying to learn how to really use Zam, because Zam's supposed to be good for like, oh gosh, Rocky Bear, help me out here. Like turquoise, the stuff that Lapidary Dave does. He uses Zam and it looks great. But well, yeah, nicer. Yeah, because I use like for the for the polishing rouges, I do use this, and I have like different buffing pads. At one point, I did use, I don't know if you can see it all that well, but tucked up there is pieces of equipment that I don't use that much, and they're high-speed buffers. And each wheel I use for a dedicated process, so there's no cross-contamination. And at some point I will utilize those again, but since space is limited here in the shop right now, I have to be very picky and choosy on what equipment is easily and readily accessible and what equipment stays out of the way. Because I also have a faceting machine too, but again, boils down to space. Also needs repaired. Okay, make sure there's nothing in the way. Okay. So with this, we just use this regular tap water. We spritz the wheel. Make sure to tap the screen to like the video if you would be so kind. It's free. Shows me you like rocks. Okay, where you hitting it at? There you are. Oh, okay. That's gonna be annoying. Don't do that. Okay. Nah, don't do it. Don't do it. I'll just screw that down later. There we go. Alright. Okay. It's a new, around this polishing flat lap, it's a brand new plastic barrier, basically kind of keeps the surrounding area from getting covered in water and polish. The last one got deformed, so I had to make a new one. We just take the cerium oxide, and we supply it to the wheel here. A little can go a long way. I tend to do a lot because I spend a lot of time on the wheel. You can never spend too much time on the polishing process. Spritz it again. And we're actually going to let's do the top first. That's a little dry. There we go. And you can always, it never hurts to put some polish on the actual stone itself. It's not going to hurt anything. Oops. Okay. And then, hi there, Alves. I'm going to show you kind of how fast this can work. I'm going to do one spot here towards the end. I like this part of the process. This part of the process, actually, it's a sense of accomplishment that you've gotten so far that you're almost done. But this is the part of the stage where you're like, man, I did that. And if you just take it out the wheel just briefly, you can see what it looked like before and after. So it's already a huge difference. What's that? Okay. Huge difference already. I will say that if you don't have a polishing wheel, Jared at Currently Rock Hounding, he has a website. It's currentlyrockhounding.com. I believe he still has on his website the plans to build your very own carpet polishing pad. And this video is not sponsored. It's not affiliated. Jared is a pretty cool guy. He's been such supporting my channel, just hanging out and leaving comments since before he had 100 subscribers. And here we are We're where are we at now? Like what, 22,000? No, we're almost 22,000. We're like 21,200 something, I think. But he's been showing me support since before 100. But he has a lot of highly informational videos. So if you're into rock hounding and like other stuff in relation to like equipment and shop stuff, like rock hammers and just everything, just go check him out. He's got a lot of videos. No, Erdna. So this machine it spins fairly slow. I couldn't tell you the RPM that's rolling out right now. I think there's been times where like if my finger touches a spot for too long, it can like I wouldn't say rug burn would be the right word, but it can be like, ooh, I should probably move my finger after a while. But no, the stone stays relatively cool because one thing. Let's see if I can get this to do this. Here, let's do the edge of the wheel really quick. What you don't want. Let's see if I can get this to do it. Okay, we're almost there. With this wheel, what you don't want is for it to dry out. And sometimes you'll feel it, sometimes you won't. But what will happen once it dries out, because what I'm doing, I'm always kind of like checking the stone to make sure it isn't drying out. It just won't polish as nicely. So you always want to check to make sure you have like some kind of like coating of the cerium oxide on your stone, and no, let's say, look, for example, like you don't want to see like a dry spot where it's like the polish isn't there at all. You don't want that. And it's an easy fix. All you have to do is spray a couple more spritzes of water on the wheel, and you're good to go. Thank you so for putting that link to Jared's channel up there. Really appreciate that. So feel free to plug yourself too. But just give me an idea. That's where we're at so far. You can see that we do have to focus a little bit here towards the end. And this piece will be up for adoption on Sunday. I don't know how much yet. I have to weigh it. So that's the thing with Fire Obsidian. Fire Obsidians can be rather expensive. Prices can reach anywhere between $25 to $100 a gram for finished cabs and finished slabs. There's a very important, I want to emphasis on cabs and slabs, not so much rough pieces, because when you have a giant piece and most of it's host rock, that's kind of really unfair. Typically, depending on the stone and the quality of the layer, will depend on the price. Just because something is worth that much doesn't mean it always goes for that much. I would actually like to say that my pendant that I wear, that is $100 a gram a stone because of how high quality that piece is. But I've sold stones before that didn't quite reach that amount because, you know, for XYZ. Just depends. I know it can be a lot, but you gotta think of this too, because, you know, Glass Butte is BLM land. You can't go out there and just dig for it and sell it because there are rules in place. I believe you can only collect 20 or 25 pounds per person per day, with a max limit of 255 pounds per year. And even then, if you're self-collecting, it can only be for yourself. You can't sell it. Has to be for personal use only. Even if you do stuff with it, you can't sell it. There are a few claims out there. The claims found loopholes to get those claims established. For the most recent ones, there were I can't remember. I think it was like 3 claims that were grandfathered in when they dedicated Glass Butte as a BLM recreational site for rock hounders. Okay, that's looking nice. But I think since then they have been allowing new people for claims because they realized that people were utilizing loopholes to get claims and sell the Fire Obsidian. Well, hi there, Luke. I mean, really, or no, like most BLM lands, like there is some kind of there's always going to be some kind of limit on how much material you can take out of BLM land. Like even Blue Forest, there's a limit for Blue Forest too. Doing pretty good, Luke. How about yourself? Opal guy's got a channel too. I can. So if you'd be so kind to, if you're able to, also share Opal guy if you haven't already. Yeah, I love the Blue Forest too. Would too. Thank you, Soul. I appreciate that. Well, Luke, anyone can make a channel. I remember when I first started my channel, there was like a few lapidary channels, but actually there wasn't really a whole lot, now that I think of it. But not like a lot of constant videos. But I think since the pandemic and a few other people making channels, it actually prompted a bunch of people to make channels. You can make a channel. It's really easy to do. All you gotta do is, if you have a smartphone, you're already halfway there. All you gotta do is record, upload, and start uploading. You can always edit later. Flash 9. Oh man. Hey Flash 9, why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Such brain rot. You know, Luke, if you have a camera, let's say regular, it doesn't have to be a phone. If you have a camera, just to record something, and then you can, if you have a laptop, you can edit on a laptop and just upload it to YouTube. It's so easy to make a channel, and it's free. Thank you, Soul. This is Obsidian. It's called Fire Obsidian. So you can see the flash color up there. Oh yeah, Luke, there's so many channels too. Like at one point, my friends and I, we started a Facebook group, a private Facebook group for content creators, and it's like solely for like lapidary and like rock channels. At one point, we had like 100 people in that group that had channels, and we haven't really posted in the group in such a long time. I think it's been over a year at this point. But yeah, there's a lot of channels out there now. Like there's probably hundreds. Get more polish on there, and we are going to do the back very carefully. Oh yeah, you know, Luke, those machines from the 70s, honestly, like they're made to last. I'm not sure what year my Beacon Star grinder is from, but that was one of the first machines that I got, followed by the Diamond Pacific Audi unit. I honestly wish I could afford to find another Beacon Star and replace the Diamond Pacific one. Well, have a good night, Soul. Thanks for all your help this evening, and hope things go well for you. So I'll send you a message too, because I haven't heard on the status of your week. So I know it's supposed to be a rough week, so I'll send you a message later. Oh, nice, Luke. And I'm going to very carefully. This is where I have a problem right here. Okay. So here's the back of the stone. Just from that little time that we put on there. Now, polishing flat sides can be really tricky because the moment that I'm done, like it's hard to grab it and remove it from the wheel without like it falling off. That's actually not bad. That's actually pretty good. But I'm not done. I'm not done yet. I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Because what I don't like is going to wash it off and you're like, oh, there's a dull spot there. So what I failed to mention before, when I first started doing this project, is when you're grinding a stone, you always want to pick a direction and stick with it. So like with this backside, I was working in this direction. I didn't go this way and then swap it out and then I had to go this way. Because if you do that, you'll have a chance to get some hatch, like cross hatching, which they'll show during this process. With this wheel, it does not matter. You can polish in which way direction you so fit. You just want to make sure to kind of lead the bottom edge first, and then press the stone to the wheel, so it doesn't catch and and then it slips and catches the carpet and flies away. Luke, my name is Kyle. K-Y-L-E. The E is silent. I used to introduce myself in my videos all the time. Like, welcome, World of Rockhouse. My name's Kyle. Today. Well, it's nice to meet you too, there, Luke. Oh, it's okay, Luke. You know what's really funny is my best friend Pete. He calls me Kyler all the time. Hello, Mr. Stars. Yeah, the back is basically done. Just to make sure, I'm going to come around the edges, just to make sure I got the edges looking nice anyways. And if I see that I'm missing any spots after the fact, then I'll fix it later. It's not that hard. Because it can be pretty easy to miss a spot. I will say that when I first started doing lapidary, I did learn on a leather wheel. A lot of people use leather wheels for polishing wheels. The only thing I don't like about leather is when leather dries out when you're working it. It doesn't matter how strong you are, it will grab that stone and it will throw it. But carpet actually does a really good job. It holds the polish rather well. And if the stone dries out, it's not going to grab it. It's not going to throw it. The only time that it will grab your stone is if you come in with an edge and you lean in wrong, and it could grab the stone and throw it. But for the most part, I love this machine. Okay. So we're just going to hit this side again. I'm adding a fair amount of pressure to the stone of the wheel, making sure to keep pressure wherever my leading point's at, and not losing my focus. So right now I'm not looking at the chat. A lot of focus happening right now. Alright, okay. And just to make sure, we're going to hit the top like this one more time. You know, Luke, there's nothing wrong with that. I will say, my neighbor, he makes beads and pendants, and I believe he actually has a tile saw, and he uses a Dremel and a vibratory tumbler, and he does beads by hand. He was taught by a Turkish gentleman when he lived in Turkey when he was a boy, and now that he's retired, I help him sell his beads in my life sometimes. Okay, so the next part is what I like to do, which I would recommend if you were going to have a polishing wheel, is to wipe off as much of the polish as possible from your stone and from the hand before you take it to your sink and wash it off. Because make sure I don't lose the stone here, there it is. Because the polishing compound can actually gunk up inside this. See, there's a spot that I missed, but that's fine. That's not important to the stone. The top's important, the sides, not so much. We're going to wipe off as much of it as possible, and then we go rinse it off. So please hold. anybody that Rock has Down syndrome, but be very careful with that comment because I do take offense to those kind of comments. I used to work as a vocational specialist with adults that were on the spectrum, and they are a lovely bunch, by the way. I even have an uncle that was adopted into the family that, you know, he is a few months older than me. Unfortunately, I forgot the disability. Okay. Now the hard part's actually keeping the stone clean after I polish it. So let me get my glasses cleaner here. Yeah, beat pie. There was a. Oh gosh, there was. I worked at a property management, and the owners of the company would use the R word all the time. And there was another gal that worked there, and she's like, "Can you not say that?" To the owners of the company. And I'm like, "Good for you for sticking up for that." So this is glass. So trying to keep glass clean after you polish it is it's not impossible, but man, it's a chore. That's why I'm using my glasses cleaner here to kind of get all the fingerprints off I just put on there. Oh, nice bee. We need more people like that in the world. I will say, I used to work for that company once, and I left because I think I can't remember if I got a different job or I was getting tired of their crap. But I agreed to go back, and the only reason why I quit a second time is because my supervisor was harassing me, and I was getting tired of it. But the guys I was working with, the guys were amazing. Let's go and zoom in here. So that's the top side there. Again, I would recommend, if this does get adopted over the weekend, to have someone just use the back side instead as like a pendant. Because that's where the best color is going to be at, I think. Or they can figure a way to do it like on a spin, like a spinny. See, that's the downside with doing flat surfaces. Hard to see the actual color. But see what I mean? It's hard to keep clean once it's been polished. But front and back. The hardest part is actually figuring out the price for something like this. Because again, I try to keep my prices fair for this material, and it is hard to get. And I just hope that when people adopt this, they gotta keep that in mind. This stuff's hard to get. It's hard to polish. I mean, it's obsidian. It's glass. But it turned out rather nice, I think. That is a smexy piece. Yes, it is. But yeah, that was fun. There was other couple pieces of obsidian that was going to work, but I liked this piece better because it was between this one and these two, and I got these all online, so you can kind of get a good before and after of the finish that we started with. Rocky Mountain Bear, I really should just kind of keep it. There we go. That'll be the piece I do next. Not tonight, but that will be the next piece I do live, I think. Can you see the color in it already? Right there. Rocky Mountain, but I don't have Windex. I do have foam glass cleaner up in the Luke. So for like lapidary stuff, it's really sporadic. I'm trying to figure out YouTube's algorithm because when I was gone for like a month and a half on my little work vacation, came back, went live, and we had like hundreds of people watching, which is awesome. And then all of a sudden, it kind of tapered out. So it's sporadic. Well, for the lapidary stuff, anyway. But for on the weekends, I'm actually live in the widescreen format on YouTube, and I'm selling rocks like Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 3 or 4 per time. And then like vertical stuff, it's just whatever. So let's go ahead and get this wet here. Well, thank you, Luke. I appreciate that. So that layer. So the thing is, like, when I'm looking at these pieces, I'm seeing where that layer is, and I'm trying to see kind of where it goes. And actually, that's right there on the surface. So that actually will be a really easy piece to work. It's so close to the surface, which is beautiful. It looks like it does. Where's my pencil again? So the layer stops right here. And where does it go? Where does it go down? Hold on. I may be wrong. Hold on. Where are you going? This is where I wish my flashlight wasn't buried. Okay, so if you use your light, you can see I was right. So that end right there, that little round spot, the round edge, that is the edge of the layer right there. And it looks like other than that, it covers most of the piece except for around the edge right there. And up there, kind of cuts off just a little bit towards the end. And then right there. And it's right on top. So with something like this, what I will probably end up doing, I will work this stone, but I'll leave the back alone. So I mentioned it briefly before. I typically like to leave certain stones in certain ways so that way whoever gets it next can do whatever they want with it. Like the stone we just polished, there's enough meat in the stone where someone could easily cut this piece in two. They can refinish it, and there's still plenty of meat to work with, so they don't have to worry about getting too close to that layer. This one, I would do something similar. I would still leave a little bit of meat on the back, so that way whoever would adopt this once they get done with it, they have enough material where they can flatten out however thick they need it for whatever project they need it for. But yeah, that's a good comparison of kind of start to finish. And I'm happy to show my processes because I will say that the biggest thing that you guys spend time on is making sure the scratches are done. Take extra time to dry your project as you're. I'll go ahead and pause that as you're working, so you can kind of see where all the scratches are, and then just spend extra time on the 600 and 1200, especially on the 1200, and continuously dry your stone as you're working before you go to the next stage. And then at that point, you just go to the polish stage. You can spend as much time as you want on there. One thing I haven't done before, Luke, is actually polish the stone with sandpaper by hand. Someday I would like to experiment with doing that to kind of see how well of a job that I get. But until my hand gets better, that's not going to happen. I'll do that. Good advice. Thank you, Amy. Also, by the way, Amy is my wife. That's her in chat. Last name's Rich Creek. It's really easy to remember. Just the opposite of Poor River. And from what I've heard, all Rich Creeks are related in some form or another. Because there's not a lot of us. There's only one other Kyle Rich Creek, and he lives somewhere on the East Coast. I tried to be his friend on Facebook, but then he denied my request. C15. I'm sorry, baby cakes. I can't see your comment because it's not appropriate. Oh, try it with Amber. Oh, so Luke with Amber. Actually, I have done Amber before. Actually, here on live. Is the piece actually in here? No, actually, it's not. I think we sold that piece, but I have done with Amber. What I've done actually is I showed it earlier. I have my Fordham, so I have that thing right there, and then I have all the bits and like the diamond bits to go with it. And then what I've done is after I use the diamond bits, so I have like all the different burrs and like different foam pads and stuff. I use them in Zerna polishing compounds. Now I will say I use it with copal instead of actual hard amber. So I haven't tested with hard amber yet. That's on my to-do list. But typically I just kind of start off with like the heavy cut polishing compounds and then work my way up to the finish. And it actually doesn't do hard, like it doesn't do that bad of a job, I will say, because amber is, well, it's ancient tree resin, as you know. It can't get too hot. So I do have to watch the speed and I do have to watch the heat. Yeah, and that's kind of the reasons why, Luke, that I don't really use machines a whole lot on the amber. I've done it for at least like the rough shaping. At least not on the, I don't think I used this machine. I don't remember if I did or not. Maybe I did, just for the loose shaping of it. And I might have used my carbide belts, and then for the final stages, then I use the metal polishing compounds. But I do also have like hand sandpaper. Is it in this one? Nope. I have it actually in this one. So I do have, in organized fashion, little sandpapers that I've cut down. I bought it like AutoZone, cut it down, and I have everything sorted by grit sizes. So that way, and I have done it by hand. This takes a little while. But I can't believe I got a scratch on my pendant. See that scratch right there where my thumb's at? I'm gonna have to sand that out. I'm not looking forward to it. Ugh. That's why I designed the pendant that way, so I can do that. How many years have I been doing this work? So I've been doing the lapidary side of things for roughly, let me think about this for a second. I started in 2012. So like roughly 13 years, give or take. That's for the lapidary side of things. For fossil prepping, I'm still new at. I started doing the fossil stuff a couple years ago, and I'm still learning stuff. And that's the thing, like when you're kind of in this, you have to be willing to like learn new stuff like all the time. It smells good too. It does. But yeah. Copal is actually fossilized palm resin. Okay. Yeah, because I got a couple pieces here. Was this the one I polished? Because I have one that has actually a little anhydro termite in it from Colombia that I want to get polished up. But my friend Tomcat Josh, he was at a rock show and he found some copal for me to, well, I told him to keep an eye on. He found some and I paid him back for it. So helped save me a trip. But I want to get this stuff, particularly this one. This one's kind of it looks like it's kind of opaque, but this one looks like it's going to be nice and clear on the inside. So that's why I kind of want to get that one shaped a little bit and see if there's any bugs in there. And this one, it's not a good polish, but this is the one I was one of the ones I was practicing on. So it's not the best polish, but that's why I'm polishing my skills all the time. Get it? I know that's a bad dad joke. I'm a dad. I'm granted to have those jokes. But yeah. Hope everyone learned something new, maybe, and it's nice to see some new faces. I will try to go do lives as often as I can, whenever I can, because um, I do the lapidary stuff as often as I can, but you know, Saturdays and Sundays I'm busy with the live sales. Here on YouTube, I don't go live on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. I'm live here on YouTube with those live sales, and then Mondays is getting everything ready for shipment, and then Tuesdays shipment day, and kind of doing whatever day. um, but I still have to get stuff ready for this weekend, as far as getting a few more things priced and then getting things ready for the auctions on Sunday. And Friday, I'm hanging out with my daughter for a little bit at the pumpkin patch, so I'm looking forward to that. And just playing it by week. Oh, Luke, be glad that you don't do TikTok. It's a huge time sink. I'm very guilty of doom scrolling. Once it gets sucked in, it's a problem, and I'm trying to get out of it. And even my wife, she's trying to get me to be like, "Are you gonna be on TikTok today?" I'm like, "No," and then sometimes it gets sucked in anyways. But today, I did really good today. Instead of spending a couple hours on TikTok, I spent a few hours playing Minecraft. So at least I'm building with blocks in a virtual world. But I'm actually gonna go inside. I'm gonna have a piece of pie, and because Amy got one of those Marie Calendar like um, apple pies. I forgot the exact flavor, but Amy got some pie, so I'm gonna have some pie, and then I'm gonna hang out with Amy, and we're gonna relax. I'm gonna play Minecraft, and she's gonna do her own thing. Oh, Luke, I turn off notification on my phone. Like I am I acknowledge that I'm really bad about getting back to people in a timely fashion because notifications on my phone are turned off. I don't have notifications for Discord, and I have my own Discord channel. So that's turned off. I have notifications for Facebook turned off, and I have several rock counting groups that I own on there. Notifications are turned off because if I hear my phone blowing up, it stresses me out. But yeah. Well, how they're phased by moons. Oh, we just increased. How do we actually lower it there? That's better. Not so bright. All right. Um, it interrupts my games. That's fair. That's very fair. My thing is like what I need to do is when I come into the shop, I try my best just to ignore my other platforms, turn on music as loud as I can get it, and then that way I just stay in the zone and I just get into it. But you know, I'm guilty of the doom scrolling, trying to be better at it. The way I try to see it is, the couple hours I spend doom scrolling is like, well, I could have spent a couple hours doing something actually productive here, and so I'm trying to keep that in mind. But for those that stuck around for 2 hours and 5 minutes of me playing with some rocks here, I know it's not quite doom scrolling, but I'm glad you guys stuck around for that long. And yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. It's nice meeting you guys. And tomorrow's Thursday. River's gonna be home tomorrow, so if I do go live tomorrow, it might not be until tomorrow night. Maybe we'll see. My friends got mad at me for the notification going off. Hey, my phone's on silent. Like it's on silent most of the time. It's on vibrate some of the time. Very rarely I actually have the sound on because I used to work in property management and I do not like my phone going off at 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, this is my personal phone. The phone that we're on right now is actually a brand new phone, strictly for keeping in the shop. Does not leave the shop, stays in here. So it's also on silent. This phone's on silent. My burner phone's on silent. Doesn't even have service anyway. And my tablet is also on silent. Yeah, no, Luke, that's actually happened before. It was like right after I just started. It was I can't remember if it was on a Saturday or Sunday, but I was in the middle of like detailing my vehicle or doing something. Maybe it was painting the inside of it. I don't remember exactly what it was. But they're like, we tried calling you. We have a flooding happening at like one of the businesses. We need your help cleaning up the water. I'm like, my phone was on silent. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I was not in maintenance, by the way. I was not in maintenance. That was a maintenance problem. That was not my problem. So see here. I'm going to ignore that comment. I'm just going to ignore the comment. I'm not going to bother with it. But, yeah. The pie shall not elude me. So I'm going to go have myself some apple pie. And you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, morning, wherever you're at in the world. And I will see you all relatively soon. So, bye, everybody. I will see you soon. And have a wonderful night, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at. So, bye, everybody. Have a held for review. What does that message say? There you go. I will enjoy that pie. Beet pie. Bye, everybody. Boop and boop.